Thank you, Jane, and it's now indeed time to hear from the athletes. Now, let's start with cycling. When you think about cycling, I think you all necessarily think Tour de France. And if you think Tour de France, you necessarily think also Greg LeMond. Greg was a 3-time winner of the Tour de France. He currently promotes bicycling for health and the environment. You'll find him featured on page 97 of the book. Greg, I'm happy to give you the floor. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Yeah, the Tour de France, that throws off a lot of CO2 and a lot of garbage. So I actually talked to the ex-president of the Tour de France about doing something about more, making sure it's a cleaner, greener Tour de France. But I do think cyclists, I really can, Tatsuo Okada, who's a good friend, that's how I met Jane. I've been to Japan quite a few times. Fascinating country, I love it. And I see where their country is very dense, but they also have very beautiful roads. They take care of the environment. And I think that what Tatsuo's always been about also is not just the global warming, but athletes themselves when they're in their environment, exercising, doing their events, doing it in a clean environment versus doing it in a dump where disease, bad water, that's an immediate impact. And I look at cycling as also in 100 years or last 100 years of technology development, still one of the most efficient ways of transportation. And I think Holland's a great example of the use of bikes. It's not only a concern for global warming, but obesity is going to be one of our greatest health risks going down the road, and movement, exercise. I think cycling solves a lot of those problems. It's green, it gets you out there, and you really get to feel nature, and it's very good for you. So I'm a little biased for that sport. So thank you.
Thank you, Greg, and we'll have a chance for questions and answers later. I'm curious to ask you about the bamboo bikes. That sounds fascinating.